beep, 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 beep. Whoa, Aetherdrift is here, and this set has got it all. Everything from fast to furious new magic cards. From cars to robots to whatever the hell loot is, Aetherdrift is overloaded with new legends to helm your commander deck. In fact, there are over 30 legendary creatures in Aetherdrift, and a lot of them would make for excellent generals for your next commander deck. The legends in Aetherdrift cover a wide range of deck strategies and archetypes, either breaking new ground or providing a fun twist on old favorites. In this video, I'll be presenting my picks for the top 5 best new commanders for Commander. If you'd like to see the best new cards for Within the 99, please check out that video here as it was released a few days ago, but we will be discussing only which new legendaries are the best and why, as well as some cool combos and synergies that you might like to include in any decks that you build with them. And if you'd like some free commander decks, then I have you covered on my next Whatnot stream, because I'm giving away 12 of them. This isn't 12, but I'm giving away 12 of them. Wow! I'm gonna include both of the brand new Aetherdrift commanders, but also 10 more commander decks from my library of commander decks, like, what's this? Oh, wow. Okay, this is the special Modern Horizons 3. It's the premium all-foil one. It's a lot of old stuff I just have lying around, and I want it to be played with, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to actually throw it, but picture I'm throwing it at the camera. Whoa. Oh, no, wait, this is the collector's edition. I got a lot of stuff lying around, so this is the collector's edition one. I'm going to give away the collector's edition one and 11 others, like this one, and the ones on the floor, and ones that aren't on the floor. Whatnot is just like if Twitch and eBay had a baby. Sellers live stream things like Magic the Gathering products or other cool collectibles for live auction, or just have them listed at Buy It Now. I've even got a Whatnot store filled with everything from extra Magic products to signed cards and signed playmats. And when you create an account using my special invite link, you get a $15 credit to spend on anything. Hey, $15 just for creating an account? Pick up some Magic cards or packs or whatever. So tune in next Tuesday, February 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific, and you might walk away with a free commander deck, or just claim that $15 credit and spend it however you want on Magic product in my Whatnot store or anywhere on Whatnot. That's www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College, and I'll see you on my next Whatnot giveaway stream. Thank you, Whatnot, for sponsoring this video. And now, what are the best new commanders from Aetherdrift for Magic the Gathering? Let's take a look. I want to start out with an honorable mention, Daretti, Rocketeer Engineer. Truly, this is a commander that exemplifies the philosophy of one person's trash being another's treasure. Also, he has a soul patch. Daretti is a 5-mana Red Goblin Artificer legend whose power is equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control, and whose toughness is equal to 5. Whenever he enters or attacks, you get to effectively cast the card Trash for Treasure, sacrificing an artifact in play to bring an artifact in your yard back to the battlefield. Daretti is a really cool way to get repeated enter the battlefield triggers for big artifacts like Portal to Phyrexia, Coveted Jewel, or Mightstone and Weakstone, but he's still way down here at the honorable mention slot because his predecessor, the original Daretti, the OG, already did something similar, while also providing a way to loot away artifacts to Trash for Treasure back into play all on his own. Still, this new Daretti clocks your opponents much better than old Daretti did, since bringing a Portal to Phyrexia back into play means he's attacking for a whopping 9 commander damage. In that vein, you can build Daretti as a combined artifact recursion commander and Voltron beatstick commander. Daretti equipped with Excalibur, Sword of Eden for instance, has a base power of 12 and then gets +10 on top of that, making him a one-hit kill for any opponent unlucky enough to have their defenses down. The biggest issue with Daretti, Rocketeer, Engineer is he'll be a removal magnet, as his ability is way too strong and his power likely to be way too high for him to be allowed to live for way too long. It's therefore important to include Swiftfoot Boots and/or Lightning Greaves in your list, both to protect him and to get an immediate 2 triggers out of him the turn he enters play. You also want plenty of artifact-based ramp in your deck, not just because he costs a lot of mana to start with, but because that ramp will later provide you with lots of fodder to sacrifice to bring artifacts back into play. And even if this iteration of Daretti is similar to his predecessor, he's still a very powerful card and brings enough new to the table to be worth considering giving him a shot at the helm of your OG Daretti deck. Hitting our main list proper, at number 5 we have Ketramose, the New Dawn. Ketramose is one of the 2 new Amonkhet gods that together fill the void left by the 4 dead Amonkhet gods. Ketramose is an Orzhov god filling in for Bontu and Oketra, alongside the Simic Sab-Sunin, who's taken over Rona and Kefnet's position. Wait, Kefnet's dead? I thought he was just sleeping. Look, in the art. No, he's just sleeping. He's just sleeping. Shh, you just sleep, Kefnet. You just sleep. Ketramose has a very powerful ability for the Commander format. He's a 3-mana 4/4 with Lifelink, Menace, and Indestructible. He can't attack or block unless you have 7 or more cards in exile, and when 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and/or the battlefield, draw a card and lose a life. Note that while multiple cards put into exile with the same card all combine to only draw you 1 card, the triggered ability is not gated by a once per turn clause. So you can say Swords to Plowshares 1 creature, draw a card, then Deadly Rollick a 2nd creature, and draw another card. Because of this, Ketramose is a really powerful commander for an Orzhov control deck. If you build your deck around exile-based removal and you only cast them on your turn, then every single interactive spell you cast will cantrip. That's not something an Orzhov commander often gets to do. You can also build your deck with more traditional destroy-based removal, and fill your deck with exile-based graveyard hate like Dothy Voidwalker, Lion Sash, or even something as heavy-handed as Rest in Peace, which draws a card when it enters due to its Exile All Graveyards clause, and then continues to draw you a card each time 1 or more permanents get removed. Lion Sash is particularly great in this deck because literally every time you activate it on your turn, you will draw a card. It's also a great thing to reconfigure onto your Ketramose, buffing the commander damage you deal considerably. If you build your deck like this, it will not be remotely difficult to get 7 or more cards in exile, allowing Ketramose to start chipping in for 4 menacing and life-linking commander damage each turn. And remember, Ketramose is indestructible. He's going to be very hard for your opponent to remove, and even if they succeed in doing so, he only starts at 3 mana. That means the commander tax is going to be very easy to pay, especially the first couple of times. Next up is another black legend, this one mono-black. It's Gonti, Night Minister, a 4-mana 3/4 that offers a new twist on the group slug archetype. Gonti, Night Minister, has 2 abilities. The first is that whenever any player casts a spell they do not own, they create a treasure token. The second is, whenever a player deals combat damage to one of your opponents, they look at and exile face down the top card of that opponent's library. They may cast it for as long as it remains exiled, and may spend mana of any color to cast it. Gonti is an exceptionally powerful and communal card advantage engine that also provides mana to the whole table when they make use of his ability, as if players need more incentive to effectively draw a card from an opponent's deck every time they deal damage to them. Because based on the wording of Gonti, it really is a card for each creature that deals combat damage. If someone is playing a tokens deck, for instance, they'll be stealing a lot of their opponent's cards. Like any good group slug commander, Gonti disincentivizes opponents from attacking you, since they'd be giving up a lot of free cards in order to do so, not to mention additional treasures. Gonti doesn't need any help from your 99 to do his thing, but you can certainly juice the group slug dynamic with plenty of curses, goading, and removal to punish opponents who decide to attack you despite your generosity. You could also run Gonti in the 99 of your favorite black deck, even if that black deck doesn't necessarily revolve around stealing opponents' cards. At a baseline, he's a generically strong card advantage engine that diverts your opponent's animosity away from you, and for just 4 mana, he offers all that for a very reasonable price. The number 3 best new commander is, without a doubt, Captain Howler, Sea Scourge. A 4-mana 5/4 shark pirate with Ward. Ward. So glad they remembered this mechanic exists. Anyway, the shark's got Ward 2, pay 2 life. Whenever you discard one or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each card you discarded this way. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card. This set is full of powerful and fun commanders that provide new takes on established archetypes, and Captain Howler is no exception. An Izzet-based discard commander isn't brand new territory. After all, we have Gavi, Nest Warden, and Riel the Everwise in Ikoria, but Captain Howler is the first that's explicitly oriented around combat. Though Aetherdrift is a cycling set, which now having said that out loud, I now understand is a joke about motorcycling. Oh my god. Well, despite that, there are a lot of other ways to discard cards to trigger Howler's ability. Channel abilities also trigger it, as do any looting or rummage effects like Faithless Looting or Occult Epiphany. There are also tons of evasive creatures in blue that will love getting buffed by Captain Howler and will therefore be happy to repay him by drawing him extra cards. Captain Howler's Ward ability is incredibly punishing of any interaction your opponents try to send his way. They have to pay both 2 mana and 2 life if they want their spell to resolve. If they do all that and then you have a blue counter spell or other protection spell, they've paid a pretty significant cost for absolutely nothing. Ideally, you want to build a wide board of flyers and other creatures that are hard to block, then spread the love as much as you can by buffing multiple creatures to then draw multiple cards. While mass discard like Occult Epiphany is great for making one creature really big, you can only buff a single creature when you discard multiple cards at the same time. Cards like Frantic Search that cost 0 mana, or free or repeatable looters like Merfolk Looter are the best ways to get multiple Howler triggers in a single turn. We are down to the top 2, and as always, it was close. I'm curious if you agree with my order of these 2 commanders, but even if you don't, it's hard to deny that they are some of the most powerful new commanders that Aetherdrift has to offer. Number 2 on our list is Mendicant Core Guidelight, a 2-mana robot legend in Azurius colors with 3 toughness and power equal to the number of artifacts you control. Mendicant Core has Start Your Engines, and its payoff for reaching max speed is, whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, copy it. Fun fact, this is the first Universes Within set to feature creatures with the robot creature type. Magic the Gathering 2025. It's only gonna get worse. Anyway, this card is very powerful. At 2 mana, it starts your engines early in the game, and once you've reached that max speed, Mendicant Core will start positively popping off. There are so many great artifacts to copy, from big mana rocks like Gilded Lotus or Hedron Archive, to card draw engines like Esper Sentinel or Idol of Oblivion. Copying a Soul Ring is obviously disgusting, but how about copying a Thought Monitor or Solemn Simulacrum? 1 mana is not a lot to pay to get a whole second copy of whatever spell you're casting. And Mendicant Core actually goes infinite with Mirror Retriever and Crank Clan Ironworks. Cast and copy your Mirror Retriever, then sack first the real Retriever to the Ironworks to make 2 colorless mana. Then sack the copy Retriever to get back the real Retriever. You now have 4 colorless mana in your pool. Cast and copy Mirror Retriever again, netting you 1 colorless mana when all is said and done. You can then do this an infinite number of times to generate infinite colorless mana. Then cast a big old walking ballista, or draw your deck with an Aether Spellbomb, since each iteration of the loop also picks up an extra artifact from your yard when you sack the real Retriever. Regardless of whether you want to go infinite or not, Mendicant Core is a ridiculous value engine if you can consistently get to max speed. You'll need to be able to deal your opponent's damage to increase your speed, so don't forget to put in some cheap, ideally evasive creatures in your deck. Once you're at max speed, you'll be off to the races. Vroom! So who is the number 1 most powerful new commander? If you said loot, you're absolutely wrong. Ha ha ha! Wrong! Wrong! This hidden gem of Aetherdrift is 100 times more awesome than that disgusting little creature. I'm talking, of course, of Kylorna, Coral Tyrant. This card is amazing! Kylorna is a 0/8 legendary octopus for 1 generic and a blue mana. The best new legendary by far in Aetherdrift. Sure, she has no abilities, and she's still a 0/8 for only 2 mana, but at least she's not loot. For centuries, she grew in her benthic home, safe from Muraganda's moonfalls. All right, I'm kidding. She isn't my best new commander from Aetherdrift. She's actually one of 5 vanilla legends in Aetherdrift, legendary creatures with no abilities. Joking aside, I am actually glad that Wizards R&D has found a way to get some vanilla creatures into a standard set again, but no, that is not our number 1 pick. So who is the new legendary creature from Aetherdrift that I think is the best of the set? Oh God, it's loot. It's actually loot. God, it's freaking loot. Roll it. Loot the Pathfinder is a 5-mana, 2/4 Beast Noble legend in Temur colors. He's got Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. He's also got a trio of powerful exhaust abilities. Pay green and tap him to activate a Black Lotus, pay blue and tap him to cast an Ancestral Recall, and pay red and tap him to Lightning Bolt any target. Remember, exhaust abilities can only be activated once, but even only activating each of Loot's abilities once is a huge advantage. His card draw mode is his most powerful, but all 3 modes have some relevant applications. And since Loot has Haste and Vigilance, you can cast him, attack, and then activate him post-combat if you have a spare mana. He's great with untap effects to use multiple modes in the same turn, but the absolute best kind of card to include in the 99 is any method for blinking or bouncing him to reset his exhaust modes. Deadeye Navigator, for instance, is Loot's best friend, allowing you to blink him at will so you can draw extra cards with him again. In fact, with Navigator in play alongside Loot, you can literally activate Loot as many times as you have blue mana to spare for the Navigator's blink cost. If you have Training Grounds or Biomancer's Familiar in play alongside Loot and Deadeye Navigator, then it's not hard to set up an infinite mana loop. You simply activate Loot with a green mana to make 3 green mana, then pay 1 blue to exile it to Deadeye Navigator's ability. When Loot returns, make 3 blue mana, going down to 2 green and 3 blue in your pool. Use 1 of that blue to exile Loot again, bring him back, and use 1 green mana to make 3 green mana. At this point, bringing you up to 4 green and 2 blue in the pool. Use a blue to reset Loot and a green to activate the fresh Loot for 3 blue mana, bringing you to 3 green and 4 blue in the pool. This whole loop costs 2 mana and generates 3 each time. Eventually, you'll have infinite blue, infinite green, and you can start making red mana to begin bolting your opponents over and over again, blinking Loot each time to reset its exhaust abilities. Congratulations, you've won the game! Everyone will still hate you though, because you're Loot. But infinite combos or no, Loot's power level does scale easily to your taste, so you'll have a lot of freedom to build exactly the kind of deck you want to build, with this corporate mascot that was engineered by committee to be the next Pikachu or Baby Yoda, or both. Remember, if you haven't already seen our episode on the best new commander cards for the 99, you can watch it here or linked in this video's description. And if you'd like to see us shuffle up and play with Aetherdrift cards, I invited Brian Kibler, Gory Baumeister, and Ash Lizzle to brew up some, what's that say? Standard? Oh, snap! Standard with Brian Kibler? Do you think a commander player like him will like the format? You better watch the video to find out. And remember to tune in next Tuesday, February 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific, where I'll be giving away 12 Commander Precons on Whatnot. Just create a new account via www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College, and you get a $15 credit to spend on whatever magic cards or packs or other products you want. Or just tune into my stream and maybe you will walk away with a free Commander deck. Thank you, Whatnot, for sponsoring this video.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
What's alchemy? These 3 Brawl Stars forced me to agree to a paper digital game of Brawl.
This might be my favorite card on Magic Arena. Oracle of the Alpha.
What the hell is going on here? Amy built me my own deck, and I've never been more afraid in my life.
Perforator Crocodile.
You get a stab wound, and you get a stab wound, and you get a stab wound.
I think it's this one.
I'm supposed to do it. I'm the computer.
All right.
I'm the computer.
Pursued whale.
Oh my gosh, it's the target audience of Secret Layers.
I told you not to blink
I
the oracle.
have to blink the Oracle.
Okay, you're gonna make me go get my Power 9. I'll be right back.